Hello again. Posting my first video was so easy that I simply couldn't wait to do a second one. So figure I may as well get started on catching everyone up with where I've been and what I've been doing. We'll just start from the last time I finished writing my last blog, which was on the plane landing in Tenerife. I got to Tenerife, did my customary, went and found a swimming pool, which was a 50-metre outdoor saltwater pool. Never swum in one of those before. It was quite amazing. Had a good hour there, just sort of decompress from the Ironman, seeing the elephants and the lions and all the other crazy stuff in South Africa. It's a really crazy place. Place I can't wait to get back to though. And then of course traveling halfway around the world, that as well. So great way to do that in the swimming pool. Got myself up to the hotel, an old stomping ground where I'd been so many times as a cyclist and was now there as a triathlete, and linked up with my my training partners for the next 10 days, being the guys in black, which was pretty awesome. Spending some time with the guys for the Giro, with Geraint Thomas and Phil Deegan, Kenny and Diego. And then of course Froomey, I guess he was a bit of the ring-in. He was the only one there just doing the tour, so yeah, he was a bit like me, the odd one out. So we spent a lot of time together, funnily enough. Out on the roads and the slopes of Tenerife. It was amazing that I actually rode on completely different roads than what I'd ever rode on with Liquigas in Cannondale. So yeah, as Sky certainly do things quite a bit differently to the other teams. So that was pretty amazing, having been there so many times when they've been there and sort of wondering what they get up to. Sometimes I wished I wasn't finding out what they were getting up to, because it was quite brutally painful, to be quite honest with you. The climbs that they found, that I can understand why no one else has found them, because no one really wants to find those climbs. Yeah, almost gives me nightmares thinking about it. Anyway, it was great. I'd get up early. I'd drop myself down the hill in the car and have a swim for an hour or so and get myself back up the top while the others enjoyed their sleep in, and got on the bikes at about 10. And we went and did our 4 to 6 hours, and then fortunately, as I'd done an Ironman, Tim let me off the running for a bit, let my legs heal up, so that was nice. Go back and then just basically pass out for about 16 hours and get up and do it all again the next day. Did that for 10 days, and then we all evacuated out of there quick smart on Saturday, Easter Saturday, and got home to our families. Obviously the guys back to Europe, mostly, well, actually all of them, Monaco. Myself, I went to the east coast of America and reunited with Fallon, who I hadn't seen for a few weeks, and her family in Deep Creek Lake, Maryland, where I stayed for the last 2.5 weeks, getting some training done. And I love Maryland. I love Deep Creek Lake. I mean, you watch those movies, American movies about lakes and the fun they have there in the summer, skiing and all that. Well, that's this place. It is awesome. And the coolest part is that it's actually 40 degrees north of the equator there. So Tasmania, for those who want to know a bit about geography, is 40 degrees south. So it's actually the identical sort of topography, climate, environment, just even the people. Everyone just moves at a really comfortable, some might call slow pace, which is just magic when you're training. Everyone cares, everyone's friendly, beautiful roads. They're absolutely perfect roads. I couldn't even find a pothole, and I searched because it was so rare that you never saw one. Swimming pool, I pretty much had to myself. This world-class facility they built there, I guess because they knew I was going to come and train or something, because I literally never saw another person in the pool. It was amazing. Running track at high school. Yeah, it was honestly potentially those 4 weeks, Tenerife and then on to Deep Creek, were the most productive 4 weeks of training I think I've ever done in my life. I ate a lot of rice in that time, lots of rice, a lot of protein powder. Not too many vegetables. I didn't have space for them, really, to be honest. was training quite a lot and just needed fuel. Just needed to burn fuel. So that was my time in Deep Creek. Fallon's family is fantastic. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Then a week ago it was time to get out of there, so no airports there. So a couple of hours drive to Richmond, Virginia, and managed to squeeze in a NASCAR race. Well, the day before, actually, Fallon drove me a couple of hours, threw me out on the highway, and made me ride the last 100k into Richmond, and then met up with my fast car driving buddy, Jimmy Johnson, and Ben King, former, so I guess a peer that I used to race against, and then a few of the guys from the NASCAR paddock, and had a bit of a pedal for a few hours, which was a great way to end my big week of training. Sunday, enjoyed the NASCAR, watching Jimmy. Bit of a tough day for him, but I love the NASCAR. Like when it comes to teamwork, for those of you who don't know much about NASCAR, probably most people think it's pretty boring, to be brutally honest. Till I met Jimmy, I thought it was pretty boring. And even when I met Jimmy, I still thought it was boring until he convinced me to go to a race, and I got to see firsthand how important the team aspect of it is, and how races are won and lost. And I've been there when he's won, I've been there when he's lost, so kind of seen it all now. And the pit stops, I mean, that's what it's all about. When they're, so nothing marginal between the cars and they're doing a million laps every minute, the only way to get the gaps is the pit stops. And so the way they do the pit stops is they have 5 wheel nuts. It's not like V8 supercars or Formula One where it's one big thing that just comes on and off in about half a split second. These guys are old school with an air gun. They have to rip off 5 wheel nuts, put on a wheel, do the 5 wheel nuts up, do the next wheel, same process, then run around to the other side of the car, lift the other side of the car up, do the same thing. And meanwhile, there's this big brute of a guy carrying a 100-gallon, I think it's 100-gallon. Well, anyway, it's big. I don't know. No, it wouldn't be 100-gallon. That'd be way too big. Anyway, I'm not sure how big it is, but it's big. Fuel drum, and filling up the car by hand. There's no electronics, no nothing. And Jimmy has won races. Like the one he won that I was there for was simply because of the pit stop and the camaraderie and everything amongst the guys. When they knew they'd nailed that stop and got him out, he came in 7th, he went out 2nd, and then on the restart just blew their doors off and won the race. Was just awesome. I mean, it was just reminded me of, team effort in cycling when you've worked all day for your team leader and he just finishes it off. Of course, you've still got to finish it off. They're the star, but it just reminds you that they wouldn't be there without their support staff. So I guess as a bit of a worker in the peloton for so many years and only tasting success through the eyes of my team leaders, I kind of appreciated that perhaps more than others. So so it was a NASCAR. Then on to LA, where I am currently. A few days just to unwind and reset, because I wanted to race the St. George 70.3 race over the weekend, which I did, which I kind of wish I didn't now. Had a terrible race. Arrived full of confidence. To be honest, the preparation was perfect. I'd never trained better. Perhaps I'd maybe done, I didn't really respect the event enough and freshen up enough. I just figured I could probably train through it as I work towards my next Ironman. But anyway, brimming with confidence, great spot on the start line next to Alistair Brownlee, the Olympic champ, and Tim Don, who a bit of a idol for me in the sport. His consistency over the years, and gun went, took off like a firecracker, right on Ali's feet. 20 seconds, I noticed we were pulling away from Tim, and I was like, whoa, it's on here. And probably about 30, 40 seconds in, all of a sudden, it honestly felt like, they talk about like a grand piano on your back. Well, I think I had like the grand piano plus every single instrument in the orchestra on me. I have never lactated so hard. I could barely roll my arms over. And it didn't take too long to go from, looking like I was clearing out with the eventual winner and champion who led from go to woe, to literally being swum over the top of by pretty much the entire field because I was too even tired to get out of the way. It's pretty hard to sort of recover when your head's underwater half the time and trying to swim. So Had a terrible swim. Chased my tail all day. Got on the bike, tried to get going, couldn't. Yeah, sadly was sort of thought I was getting better as the day went on. Got on the run, wasn't. But anyway, still struggled through. Still had a pretty good race. In as much as I didn't do any worse than I'd done before. So I guess someone could say I probably performed at a level I was capable of. We kind of know, differently. But yeah, I guess I'm learning things in this sport. Sadly, a bit like I did in cycling. I'm racing, the biggest races that are currently on, and against the best guys. And when you don't know what you're doing and you make mistakes, they really make you pay for it. But you got to learn. I wasn't doing the sport when I was 8 years old or 15 or even 20. To make these mistakes there and learn from them and be a consistent racer now. I'm going to make a few. I'm trying to make as few as possible. And I've got some pretty amazing people in my corner helping me out. More recently, Greg Welsh has just been, just amazing. Honestly, every time I get an email from him or speak to him, I just can't even believe he's speaking to me. I mean, that is a guy that I grew up idolising as a young Aussie kid, watching him take on Mark Allen in Kona and Mike Pigg and Jürgen Zach and all those guys, Ken Glar, just on Wide World of Sports, the highlights package of Kona. And I wasn't even interested in triathlon. I said to Greg, it wasn't even that he made me want to be a triathlete. He was just a sporting icon, just made you want to go out and do your best. He just sort of epitomised that quality, the underdog, and so anyway, pretty cool. So that was probably disappointing for me, with Greg being there, having a fair bit of belief in me for the race and really not showing anything like we talked about. But he's still there for me now, which is great. Refocus and start looking towards Cairns in 4.5 weeks now. So really excited about that. Starting to get my run going. I'll put a video up of me running, so you can all be critical of it, comment, and if you like, or maybe even compliment me. That'd be nice. But really, it's the race that's going to show how well I'm running, and if I deserve any compliments on my run. LA for a few more weeks. Do some stuff here, training wise, particularly the run, a bit of position stuff with the bike, got some equipment stuff to still work through that we're trialing here and there. So exciting times. Really looking forward to getting home to Australia for the Cairns event. It'll be the first time I've actually done the same event twice in triathlon. Last year was obviously my debut as a professional, so 12 months on. I guess I got to accept pressure. I need to step up and show that I've improved since then. Fortunately, I went really, really poorly that day. I really performed badly. So I've got a long way to, a lot of ground there, probably between what I believe I'm actually capable of and what I did that day. So if I get somewhere in the middle, which should be more than within my capabilities to do, then I've shown some improvement in the 12 months, so really excited about that. I have mum and dad there to support me. I haven't had them both at a race yet, so looking forward to that. And and from there it's on to Europe, which I'll tell you about and what I'll be doing there in the next post. So thank you. It's my first proper post. I don't know if I can get any feedback on how it works, but what you think of it. But if you want to hear about something, got any questions, anything you want me to answer, just send me a message somehow. I don't know how you do that, but do that, and I'll think about answering it and think about some interesting content for future posts. Rightio. Have a good night, everybody. Well, it's night time here in LA, and I'm going to bed. See ya.